Hey, Neff, pass me my phone off the charger, please. Come on. Can you hurry up? Don't get smart. Because y'all don't even know where y'all in the room anyway. For real, though. Did you just poop, you funky nigga? You motherfuckers is nasty. Get your motherfucking ass out of here, you nasty.
I'm sorry. For those of you who are not watching us live here at the Spann Report Podcast, yo, these young boys just played a prank on their mama, spray some fart spray in the air or whatever. She didn't know it was coming. And she is so done with these little niggas, man. Hold up. Oh, shit.
Did you just poop, you funky nigga? You motherfuckers is nasty. Get your motherfucking ass out of here, you nasty.
Oh, man. Shout out to TikTok, man. I swear. Like I said, man, I was getting at peak internet, man. I felt like I didn't want to download no apps or nothing like that, or no more new social media apps, man. But like, yo, man, these kids are out of fucking control with the TikTok, man. And like, they played this prank on their mama, and low key, it kind of reminded me of my mama and me and my brother. Craziness, man. Craziness ensued. But yo, man, what's going on with y'all? It is episode number 319 of the Spann Report Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann. And yo, man, it's been a week since the last time we had a chance to chop it up, man. And then I missed you niggas, man. Happy post-Thanksgiving, y'all. Happy post-Thanksgiving. You know, we done had Thanksgiving and Black Friday then came through here. You know, the Black Friday shit has been a bit subdued because of the COVID shit, you know what I'm saying? As it should be, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we are here and we are able to like kind of celebrate and, you know, kind of get through these trying times with the holidays and shit now. You know, we able to get through these things together, right? So, yo, man, shout out to y'all who have made it through this holiday season so far and will continue to make it through this holiday season going forward. But yo, man, like I said, this is episode number 319. And of course, before we get into the show, I do have to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast and let your voice be heard. You can go ahead and hit up the hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave us those voicemail messages, and of course, those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. You can also email us here at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Go ahead, leave us those emails. And of course, those emails will get right here and reply to here live on the show as well. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead and follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Also, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and or Stitcher Radio. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. It doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time. So let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. Also, hit up our website at www.thespannreport.com. You can go there, watch replays of the show. You can donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like. And of course, we really do appreciate every dime over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. And for those of you who would like to continue to contribute through our Patreon, man. The Patreon is our golden circle of the Spann Report Podcast, man. Those are the people who allow for us to broadcast the show here live on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Periscope, man. So for those of you who would like to contribute, go ahead and chop it up and sign up for our Patreon, man, and help us continue to bring you the show as we do this here live every week, man. Real talk. But yo, man, it's been a week, like I said, since the last time I talked to y'all, man. And you know, a lot of shit has been going on, news-wise, pop culture-wise, and everything like that. We're going to talk a little bit about it. But, of course, your man Spann got some random thoughts, man. I've been bringing some random thoughts pretty consistently these last couple of weeks, man. And I got some here for you guys today. And I think these are things that just, like, I know I'm not the only one who's been thinking about this shit. But, you know, I just feel like I need to share them with y'all, man. See how y'all feel about this shit, you know? So, like, the first random thought that I have right now, I'm gonna need StockX to stop emailing me, bruh. Yeah. StockX been emailing me about PlayStation 5s and shit. And I'm gonna need them to like get the fuck up out my inbox with that bullshit, man. Because every time I go to StockX and go look at it like for a PlayStation 5, they got them bitches in there for $1,000. Nigga, I ain't about to spend $1,000 on a motherfucking PlayStation 5, man. I don't know what kind of fool y'all take me for, or the like. And the reason why, man, is because it's a bunch of fools out here willing to pay $1,000 for a console that costs what, $399? Use a fool. Like, I get it, man. Like, you know, people want to get it, you know, for the kids or whatever. It's the hot item for the holiday season, this, that, and other. But nigga, I ain't about to pay no $1,000. Even if I got it, you know what I'm saying? I got it, but I ain't got it to give to y'all. Not for that. I got other shit going on, man. I'm a busy man, man. Fuck that. I ain't $1,000 for no goddamn PlayStation. StockX. Get out of my inbox, man. Especially with that bullshit, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's unbecoming, man. Real talk. Another thing I was kind of thinking about, man. You know, I've been on social media for quite some time now, man. Your man Spann been on the internet for quite a while, man. My internet usage goes back to like, you know, Black Voices and shit. You know, it'd be weird, you know, when I see people talking about when did your social media experience really start? People be talking about like, yo, mine started with Twitter, or mine started with Facebook and shit. I'm like, damn, nigga, I was damn near a decade in by the time that shit came out, bro. Like, nigga, I came in like chat rooms and shit on Black Voices and like coming up with your own web page on like GeoCities and shit, where they actually tried to give you like a street name and address and shit on the web, bro. It was crazy, right? Taught myself HTML, that whole nine. Remember, everybody was trying to teach themselves HTML because they want their shit to look nice, you know. I go back that far. But I was thinking though, you know, with Facebook, man, like, you know, everybody's now is just like on some, you know, like on some brand name sort of shit. Everybody wants to be a brand and stuff. Everybody wants to be seen as like, you know, big in some sort of way, man. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to be heard, you know? And it made me think about all the times, man, where I saw people who would like post something that they thought was really deep and shit, and nobody liked or commented on that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know some of y'all have done that, you know, but then y'all took it down and y'all reposted the shit because y'all didn't think nobody saw it the first time. I seen it. Everybody else seen it too. We see that shit. We remember. It's happening again. I've seen a few of y'all do that shit these last few weeks, man. I ain't gonna call you out or nothing. I mean, I ain't gonna call you out by name or whatever, but I'm just saying, man. Hey, man, stop doing that. We saw it the first time, man. I mean, it wasn't as deep as you thought it was, man. That's all. It wasn't as deep as you thought it was. Just go ahead and like just keep it moving, man. Ain't no hard feelings. Ain't no hard feelings, man. Real talk. Another thing I was thinking about, man. Shout out to the people that be in like some of these credit building apps, man. Like I've been the last few years, man, just like trying to, you know, be better financially with my, you know, with my money or whatever, and being more responsible with my credit and whatnot, man. And every now and again, you'll see somebody come into some of these groups, man, some of these credit groups on Facebook or whatever, and everybody's trying to learn how to better their credit. Everybody's trying to learn how to like improve their standing, you know, credit wise with the bureaus and everything. And then you got this one motherfucker that come in with the obvious fucking humble brag, right? And they be like, yo, I got a 780 FICO credit score. Is that a good enough credit score for me to buy a house? And you be like, all right, nigga, you know goddamn well that 780 credit score is good enough for you to buy a house or any motherfucking thing else you really wanted to get to. Like, just say you happy that you got that 780, nigga. Just like, don't come in there with like, you got people in there struggling with 400s, man. They got 540s or some shit like that, man. Don't come in there talking about is my shit high enough for me to get a house with a 780 credit score, nigga. Some of these people are dreaming about a 780 credit score, and you know goddamn well your 780 credit score is good enough for you to buy a house. You're probably getting some of the best interest rates in the world right now with your 780 credit score. But no, y'all want to come in the credit group and like brag or act like you didn't know and shit. Like anybody with a 780 credit score, they kind of know what the fuck they doing, man. There ain't a whole bunch of people that's falling into a goddamn 780 credit score. You know what I'm saying? You know, that shit just ain't happening, man. Real talk. But yo, man, that's it. That's all of my random thoughts. Let's get to the motherfucking news, y'all. All right, man. Our first story here in the news has to do with the coronavirus, man. Because, like I said, we coming out of the Thanksgiving holiday, man, And many folks were traveling. Many folks were going to meet and see family and everything else, man. And apparently, some of them just didn't give a fuck about this COVID whatsoever, because 1 in 3 parents say that the benefits of gathering at Thanksgiving was worth the risk of getting the motherfucking coronavirus. Yeah, man. So we get this out of abcnews.com. It says a new survey of parents nationwide finds that nearly a third say the benefits of gathering with extended family for the holidays are worth the risk of spreading or getting the coronavirus, and almost 3 in 5 plan to see extended family in person. This is according to a poll conducted by the C.S. Mott Children's Hospital in partnership with the University of Michigan. They heard from almost 1,500 parents with at least one child 12 years or younger. Among parents who usually see extended family outside their household on Thanksgiving, 61% said that they still plan to meet in person in some way for the holiday this week. However, only 18% of those family get-togethers are planning to include people from out of state. For many parents, holidays mean sharing special rituals across different generations and opportunities for children to connect with grandparents, cousins, and other relatives. Sarah Mark, MPH, a co-director of Mott's Children's Hospital, National Poll on Children's Health. Our report suggests that while many children have spent less time with relatives during the pandemic, some parents may have a hard time foregoing holiday gatherings in order to reduce COVID-19 risks. Of those planning to get together in person, some parents say they are considering changes because of the pandemic. These include asking people with symptoms or recent exposures not to attend, limiting contact between young children and elderly guests, keeping guests socially distant when possible, and wearing masks indoors. Now, here's the thing, man. I am one who has been, I've cut back my interaction with, like, personal interaction with family quite a bit. I've talked about this on the show, man. Like, I didn't go home to Chicago for my grandma's birthday. She turned 84 and it was her last birthday. We did like a Zoom call, and as much as I would have loved to have been there with Granny for her final birthday, man, not knowing that it would be her final birthday, as much as I would have loved to have been there, I don't know if I could have forgiven myself if I would have gone to Chicago to go be with my grandma, and because of the nature of my job, I could be asymptomatic and not know that I just passed this shit on to my grandma and something happened to her. Now, unfortunately, Granny did pass away this year. But I can rest easy knowing that it wasn't anything that I did that contributed to my grandmother not living to see this Thanksgiving this year. And so one of the things that I think about when you start talking about these parents talking about they are willing to risk this, they're willing to risk getting the coronavirus for the sake of being together as a family this year for this holiday. I just think about how reckless that is, man. Real talk. I really feel as though, like, you can make the sacrifice this year to not be with these elderly people or not expose them or possibly expose them for the chance that you'll see them next year. And it'd be a much bigger celebration. Hey, we got past this, right? Like, that's not a guarantee that, the vaccines that they're talking about that are effective and stuff like that's not to say, because a lot of folks are even talking about they don't even want to take the vaccines. But like the idea that you would possibly expose some of the elders in your family because you just had to be around them for this particular day, is something that I necessarily can't relate to. And as much as I loved my granny, man, as much as I talked about her on the show, man, there was no way in hell I was going to risk her health for the fact that I wanted to see her. And Granny wouldn't have had it any other way. She told me so, And so, yeah, man, like the fact that like 1/3 of people, like, and we saw the numbers and shit, like more people like traveling, they traveling by car, they're traveling by airplane and shit. Everybody much of this has to do with the fact that and this is just my own speculation on this, but much of this has to do with the fact that there's so many people still who haven't lost anybody important to them because of the coronavirus. As much as we talk about there being over 250,000 people in the United States who lost their lives due to COVID-19, there's still a multitudes of people in this country who haven't seen or haven't dealt with the losing of anyone in their lives due to this coronavirus. I've lost 2 people this year due to the coronavirus. 2 of the most influential people in my life this year. Your man Spann took some gut shots this year because of fucking coronavirus. So I'm much more reticent, much more hesitant to like just be around people all willy-nilly and shit because of the coronavirus. And I would much rather leave them and not be like around them because of coronavirus. And hopefully next year, this time, we can look at this and like, yo, man, I'm glad we got through that. And now we can be more thankful for the time that we have together because we made it through that period of time where so many other people didn't. So, yeah, man, that's in the news, man. A lot of these folks was out here like saying, fuck the COVID. We going to go out here and we going to do this Thanksgiving thing the way in which we normally do it anyway, despite the fact that there's a goddamn global pandemic going on. So, yeah, man, that's in the news. Another story that we got here in the news is that we do have a new makeup of the Supreme Court with Amy Coney Barrett being sworn in on the Supreme Court. They have decided that they are going to make some changes as to how we rule on things that are going on in the world. So the first major case that has come before the Supreme Court since Amy Coney Barrett has been nominated, and not only nominated, but installed into the Supreme Court, is that they've just blocked the state of New York from enforcing COVID limits on churches in that state, man. Real talk. Oh shit, I got both of them at the same time. Well, how about we do it like this?
That'll be a monkey's bare-ass uncle.
Yeah, that's what I really wanted. But we're going to go to NBCnews.com, and there's actually video associated with this. So let me see if I can pull this video up, and we can watch this here together as a family. Let me go ahead and see if we can go ahead and share this here. Pull that up like that. All right. So let's see what they're talking about on NBC News. What they talking about? Oh, shit. Come on, man. Comcast told me I was over my data. Maybe they're slowing my shit down, y'all. Who knows? Oh, they really gonna start this shit off with a goddamn commercial? Let's go ahead and mute that, because we don't do their commercials over here. You know what I'm saying? I am still a consumer, goddammit. Hey, man, play the goddamn. You know what? Fuck the video, man. Fuck this shit. Let's go ahead and just read the article. I'll just read the article. It ain't even that important. We'll just read the article. Damn. But yeah, it says the U.S. Supreme Court issued an injunction late Wednesday blocking New York's governor from enforcing a 10 to 25% occupancy limits on religious institutions, granting a request from the Catholic Diocese of Brooklyn and Agatha Israel. The states had told the court there was no need to act because the restrictions, which were adopted as a way to try to prevent the spread of coronavirus, had recently been dialed back. The court apparently divided 5-4 with Chief Justice John Roberts and Justices Stephen Breyer, Sonia Sotomayor, and Elena Kagan dissenting. In an unsigned majority opinion, the court said that the restrictions would violate religious freedom and are not neutral because they single out houses of worship for especially harsh treatment. While religious institutions were affected, businesses categorized as essential could admit as many people as they wished, the court said. And the list of such businesses included acupuncture facilities and others the court said were not essential. The court said that there was no evidence that the organizations that brought the lawsuit had contributed to the spread of COVID-19. In his dissent, Roberts said that he saw no need to take this action because the state has revised the designations of the affected areas, and none of the houses of worship that sought relief now face numerical restrictions and can hold services up to 50% capacity. Breyer said if the state seeks to reimpose the limits, the plaintiffs can come back to the court. Sotomayor and Kagan said granting the injunction will only exacerbate the nation's suffering. Both Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh filed concurrences. Neither Amy Coney Barrett nor Samuel Alito filed separate opinions. So I'm going to just say this here right now, man. The idea that your religion trumps everything else for the public health is bullshit. Bottom line, right? This goes back to that whole these religious freedoms that that a lot of people on the right are pumping up and pushing out, in that you believe that your ability to go to church trumps everyone else's ability to live is asinine. It's an asinine train of thought. And so also they're talking about like, well, so There are acupuncture places that are that are not. We don't deem those essential. We don't believe that those places are essential. But the ability for our people to go to church, well, that's essential. Here's the thing: you don't find thousands of people, hundreds of people congregated at a damn acupuncture place, man. You don't find hundreds of people, thousands of people congregated at a damn liquor store, right? They may have people coming and going, but they are not grouped up in that motherfucker, man. They're not congregated up in that motherfucker. Meanwhile, churches are acting as though, yo, man, we act by faith, not by sight, and all this other shit, right? As though the coronavirus cares whether or not you are practicing as a Jewish person, whether you're practicing as a Christian person, whether you're practicing as a Muslim person, whether you're practicing as a Buddhist. The virus itself does not care. And when you leave that church, when you leave that synagogue, when you leave that temple, you are now presenting yourself and allowing yourself to possibly infect people who didn't go to your church, who didn't go to your synagogue, who didn't go to your temple, man. And so for the Supreme Court, the vaunted motherfucking Supreme Court, to reduce this shit to, well, we don't believe some of these other places are essential. Therefore, this is persecution for these people's religious freedom. Like, hey, man, I grew up in the church a bit. I was a junior deacon in my church a bit. The building itself isn't the church. The church is you, per the scriptures. You don't have to group up with these people in order to find out what church is. They could do church we got technology now. You can do church on Zoom. You can do church on Google Meet. You can do church from the comfort of your very own couch. Many of you go to church and y'all watch church on TV. These televangelists making hella money off of these gullible motherfuckers, man. So the idea that the Supreme Court decided that, the COVID restrictions to keep people from getting infected, despite the fact that America is number one in the world for COVID, is asinine, is ass backwards. And this is what we get for allowing Donald Trump to be president of the United States, man. This is exactly what the fuck we get. And this is what, some people on the left didn't understand when we were talking about this shit back in 2016, was that the Supreme Court was the biggest thing. Conservatives have seen this they played the long game on this. So many people on the left did not see the long game in this. And so now we're dealing with the consequences of that. Unfortunately, so many more people may have to die because some people decided that their religious freedom was greater than your right to live, man. Real talk. But that's in the news. Another story that we got here in the news, man, is One America News Network, one of Donald Trump's favorite news networks, is available on YouTube, or is not available on YouTube anymore because YouTube has just suspended One America News Network for promoting fake COVID-19 cures, man. Yeah, man. So we can just hear out of abcnews.com. It says a television network touted by President Donald Trump due to his friendly coverage of his administration has been temporarily suspended by YouTube after one of his videos promoted a fake cure for COVID-19. One America News Network is prohibited from posting new videos to YouTube for a week and will be unable to make money off of existing material during that time, Axios reported. YouTube says that OAN suffered a first strike penalty for violating the company's COVID-19 misinformation policy. TechCrunch reports that the video promoting the guaranteed COVID-19 cure has been removed from YouTube. If OAN suffers a third strike within 90 days of the first, the network will lose its YouTube channel permanently. Since Election Day, Trump has prompted both OAN and Newsmax TV, both of which have continuously questioned the results of the election and peddled misinformation about voter fraud. Trump has touted the two burgeoning networks in favor of Fox News, a network which he regularly appeared on in the months leading up to the election day. This story was originally published by Joe Tavis, KSTU in Salt Lake City. So yeah, man, Newsmax is one of those Trump-friendly places where, conspiracy theories run rampant, where election fraud is considered a fact, and where he gets softball coverage, where Donald Trump himself gets softball coverage. Man, I'll be glad. I'll be so glad when January 20th finally rolls around to where we're not talking about this asshole as much, and we're not talking about the incompetence of this asshole as much because he's no longer present, and we don't have to deal with these these sort of propaganda outfits, so to speak. Whether you're talking about Newsmax TV or whether you're talking about Fox News and whether you're talking about One American News Network, man, like we know that they are propaganda outfits, and that's essentially what they are. And that's not to say that they don't have that sort of shit on the left. Like to some degree, I consider the Young Turks a bit of a propaganda outfit, So like, it's not to say that those things don't exist on the left, but at the same time, man, YouTube had to suspend these motherfuckers for promoting a fake COVID-19 cure, man. So real talk, that's in the news. Another story that we got here in the news, man, is a young girl who had been held at gunpoint by the Grand Rapids, Michigan police back in 2017. Unfortunately, this young lady died due to complications of COVID-19. So we read this story here. This comes out of clickondetroit.com. This is the NBC affiliate here in the Detroit area. It says a teenage girl who was involved in a controversial incident with Grand Rapids police in 2017 has died from COVID-19, according to family members. The 14-year-old girl, which means she was 11 when the Grand Rapids police pulled a gun on her. 11. The 14-year-old girl, Honesty Hodges, reportedly tested positive for the coronavirus on November 9th, her birthday. Hodges' grandmother says the girl was moved to the ICU as her case quickly worsened, and she was placed on a ventilator shortly after. After battling the virus for 2 weeks, the young girl died on Sunday, November 22nd, according to her family members. It is with an extremely heavy heart that I have to tell all of you that my beautiful, sassy, smart, loving granddaughter has gone home to be with Jesus, Hodges' grandmother wrote in a GoFundMe post on Sunday. Back in 2017, Hodges was at the center of a controversial police incident that took place at her Grand Rapids home. On December 13, 2017, the then 11-year-old girl was held at gunpoint, handcuffed, and placed into the back of a cruiser by Grand Rapids police. Wood TV reported that the young girl was leaving her home to go to a store. Police said that they were at the home looking for the girl's 40-year-old aunt, who had allegedly stabbed a relative nearby. Grand Rapids police also detained 2 other women who exited the house with the girl. Police issued a statement after the incident saying officers detained the women and the girl because they hadn't determined if they were the suspect. Police said neither the woman nor the girl was armed. Grand Rapids Police Chief David Roninsky said the body cam video of the incident made him nauseous. Listening to the 11-year-old's response makes my stomach turn. The police department opened an internal investigation into the incident shortly after. The officers involved was later cleared by investigators. So, yeah, man, as we talk about Thanksgiving holiday, as we talk about Black Friday, as we talk about getting together with family and everything else, man, understand this, that it's not just the older people in your family. It's not just your Meemaw. It's not just your Pawpaw. It's not just your granny or grandma or Pawpaw. Like, it's not just them. Young people are dying by this too. And the reason why we didn't know that young people were susceptible to some of the adverse effects of this is because we shut down the country early on. Not necessarily shut down the country. Certain states shut the fuck down. And we took kids out of school to keep them protected. But now we're like, yo, these kids need to be in school. We need to be playing college football. We need to be playing NFL. Like we're trying so hard to like push forward to being normal as if we've done the work, and we haven't. We haven't done the work. And so a 14-year-old girl dies because we refuse to do the work, and a young life is snuffed out. So, yeah, man, it's tough, man. It's tough as hell, man, to talk about that sort of shit. But, yo, man, that has been our fucking news. But y'all know what time it is.
What in blue blazes is going on out here?
This nigga just say blue blazes.
All right. Our first story here in Blue Blazes is we've got a pastor out in Nigeria, man. Pastor in Nigeria is saying that her vagina is anointed. And that her vagina is so anointed that it heals infertility in men, and that all they have to do is have sex with her, and therefore they will no longer be infertile. Yeah, man. Yeah, let's read the story. Let's go ahead and read the story. We get this. Let me pull this up just a second here. We get this story here. This comes out of breakingnews.co.ke. So I've never heard of this fucking website. So I've never heard of this joint. But I saw this and like this is crazy as hell. So we're gonna read the story. It says one Nigerian pastor has shocked many after claiming that God has anointed her private parts and that she can cure infertility in men if they sleep with her. Pastor Veronica, the founder of Life of Faith and Prosperity Ministry, says that any man, I said any man, that makes love to her will be healed of his fertility problem. She was speaking during a church session during Sunday, March. This happened in March, so I'm mad I ain't found out about this until just now. So she claims that her mission on earth is to cure fertility problems in men. The only condition for this healing is that each session would not last more than 2 minutes. Hey, man. I hear you. You're like, hey, it don't take that long. Y'all don't last that long, nigga. I got that wop. Okay, I got that wop. She says, God gave me an anointed vagina. You only had to sleep with me and get healed of all your fertility problems. Men have gone through a lot in this generation, and God sent me to liberate them. You can choose to believe my anointing or leave it, but it remains true. So check this out. Check this out, man. You know what? I believe her, man. As a man of faith, I believe her, man. I believe that, you know, the anointing may be upon her and that many people have been able to take advantage of her anointing and everything else, man. All I know is that there may be millions of, well, maybe not millions, hundreds, maybe not hundreds, tens of few niggas, man. Like, man, when goes like see what she about, you know what I'm saying? To go see what she about. And some of them may be coming up out of that house or coming up out of that temple or coming up out of that church after having a 2 minutes with the pastor Veronica, and they leave up out of there and they leave up out of like this. The angels, baby. Yes, Lord. They ball sacks been redeemed, y'all. I say they ball sacks been redeemed. All right. Now, how dare you question Pastor Veronica and the anointing of her pussy in this day and age? I rebuke you, the Satan. I rebuke the I don't know who the hell I'm rebuking right now. But yeah, man. You know what I mean? Brothers, man, walked about it there like, yo, man. Like, she got that thing, man. Like, I think my shit work again. Oh, man. I'm going to hell for that. Oh, man, I need to be redeemed. Oh, man. But, yo, man, Pastor Nigeria, Pastor Veronica, she says that if you have sex with her, your infertility issues will be no longer a thing, and that the God has anointed her vagina, and that you can have your infertility healed just by having sex with her. And it only takes 2 minutes. And yo, man, I'm just saying, like, that's one way to get your ministry up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talk about the church and whatnot, man, and especially here in America, we talk about like the population of the church and whatnot. And many people believe like, yo, it's mostly women that are like, they make up the bulk of the congregation now. You know, like a lot of black men, especially black men, a lot of black men just aren't necessarily feeling going to church. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I don't want to go to church, man. This nigga always in my pocket and shit, man. This nigga always asking me for my money and shit. I ain't got time for this shit, nigga. This nigga, it's a hustle, nigga. I see the game, nigga. I see the game. But I'm sure if there were more of these pastors, these sorts of pastors with this sort of anointing, then many of these brothers will be going to church to see if they can be redeemed for their sexual exploits, So yeah, man, that's in Blue Blazes. Another story that we got here in Blue Blazes, man, is Halle Berry, man. Halle Berry and Lisa Ray, man. Shout out to the 90s, nigga. Shout out to the motherfucking 90s. Yeah, man. So Halle Berry claps back at Lisa Ray because Lisa Ray been out here talking reckless about her WAP. You know what I'm saying? Like she like, man, bitch, why you talking about me? You know what I'm saying? I ain't bothering nobody. Lisa Ray been on some shit, but accordingly, Halle Berry claps back about bedroom rumors and tells Lisa Ray to ask her man Van Hunt about what she got going on.
Ho, brother, whoa. Now you got too much dip on your chip.
Yeah, so we get the story here. This comes out of the shaderoom.com. It says, Halle Berry just pulled a Miley what's good on Lisa Ray, and child, I'm gagging, because this is the shade room. Okay. It says the Oscar-winning actress had to virtually pull up to Lisa Ray for her recent comments about Halle's alleged bedroom performance, and she made sure to hit the @ symbol too. Just to rewind so we can catch up those who just got their teacup, Lisa Ray shared some of the rumors that she heard about Miss Berry on a recent episode of Cocktails with Queens. That is a messy ass show, man. I feel like every time that show comes up, we talk about Lisa Ray saying some out of the wall, foul ass shit, man. Like somebody need to give Lisa Ray a hug, man. I feel for Lisa Ray. I think some shit's going on with Lisa Ray that there's some demons that Lisa Ray may have to deal with or something like that, man. Somebody go out there and get that sister a hug, man. Like go see if she all right. Cause she been on some shit, man. She been on some other shit lately. It says, just to rewind. Oh, I already read that part. It says, now we all know that the ladies of that show we all know the ladies of that show can get to running their mouth a bit too much, but to be fair, it comes with the territory as it is the premise of the show. On this specific episode, Lisa Ray hurled out a shocking accusation about Halle Berry's status in the bedroom or lack thereof. The women were discussing celebrity relationships and how some women can't keep their men while mentioning both Toni Braxton and Halle. However, Lisa Ray took things a step further and called out Halle's alleged weak bedroom skills. When Claudia noted that Toni had some fine men back in the day, Lisa Ray came back with, but she done lost some too. So we don't know what she be doing in the bedroom. It could be like Halle Berry. Huh? Okay. Claudia then asked Lisa Ray, what do you mean, Lisa Ray, about Halle Berry? She's not supposed to be good in the bedroom? Lisa Ray then elaborated and said, that's what they said, that's what I read, and that's what I heard. That's what they say. Needless to say, after a good social media drag, and Lisa Ray clarified her comments, you can read that here. Well, maybe Halle didn't get the updated memo because she tweeted Wednesday in response to the headline saying that Miss Lisa Ray, at Lisa Ray 1, ask my man Van Hunt, he'll tell you all you need to know. And bloop, just like that, not bloop. Miss Berry shut it down real quick while keeping the queue. We heard that she better have that ask about me energy. Okay, so y'all, the editorializing, but I'm gonna just say this, man, about I get that that's the premise of the show, man. I get it. I just kind of wonder why it's the same motherfucker every week, man. Every week. It's the same person. We've talked about her when it came to her sister, some of the toxic things that were said about her sister and whether or not, or basically her being her feelings about her sister getting married and being with a woman, being out and free with her woman and everything else, and Lisa Ray having issues with that. We can talk about like the way in which she's talked about her ex-husband and whether or not and alluding to the to the idea that maybe her ex-husband and former husband of Tisha Campbell, Dwayne Martin, was having a homosexual affair. You know what I'm saying? Like we could talk about all of that. And I just think that like Lisa Ray personally may be dealing with some shit that she hasn't like confronted really yet. Like we see this shit playing out on social media and like it's fodder for everybody to just kind of talk about. I'm talking about it here on my show, but I I honestly kind of feel like, yo, man, Lisa Ray may be dealing with some issues that we are not necessarily like privy to. And I would hope that Lisa Ray would like kind of deal with those things as opposed to projecting all of these things onto other people while giving you this content with the Cocktails with Queens show that they do with Fox Soul or whatever. Like, yo, man, just like, yo, man, like deal with your shit because obviously like something's going on with you. Deal with your shit before we start talking about everybody else's things, you know, that's going on, man. So, yo, man, that's in Blue Blazers, man. Halle Berry had to like kind of come out of, you know, her perch and like, yo, man, ask about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, ask about me. Not only that, like the idea that a woman has to keep a dude. Like, I thought that we was like kind of past that shit. You know what I'm saying? Or we may not necessarily be past that shit because there's a lot of people who like cling to that sort of patriarchal idea. But like the fact that like it was it's a knock against a woman because the dudes around her, she wasn't either able to keep them or one, like maybe, just maybe, she wasn't putting up with, you know, mistreatment. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we always kind of center this as in a way where it's about her ability to keep a dude, not necessarily whether or not those dudes were like able to kind of stick around. You know what I'm saying? We always frame it in that way. And so, yeah, man, Halle Berry had to clap back and I'm glad she did. But yo, man, that's in Blue Blazers. Another story that we got here in Blue Blazers, man. And I don't know why the hell this damn camera does not want to focus on your boy, man. I don't know. I'm gonna have to give me another webcam or some shit, man. What the hell's going on with this thing? Let's see. Let's do that there. Huh? It didn't work. But let's go ahead to our other stories here in Blue Blazers. Let me pull this up. So PlayStation 5s, man. I talked about this earlier in my random thoughts. PlayStation 5s are like the holiday item of the decade. Real talk, man. You cannot find a fucking PlayStation 5 nowhere. I said nowhere. And so many of us know that the reason why the PlayStation 5s are not as available as, say, for instance, like I remember, you know, years ago, the PlayStation 4 was just as hot. But the reason why the PlayStation 5 is having, and to some degree, the Xbox Series X, right? The Xbox Series X isn't as available as it would normally be. Part of the reason why is because these stores are trying to keep you guys from congregating at these stores to try to get yourself a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X in the physical stores because of COVID-19. They're trying to keep those fucking groups from grouping up and creating a super spreader event. And so they're selling these things online. Well, when they decided they were going to sell these things exclusively online, the fucking scalpers, like, yo, they are feasting right now, right? And many of us want to beat the fuck out of a goddamn scalper. Real talk. Your man Spann want to beat the fuck out of a scalper. I just want to chop one in the neck one real good time. Just bah, like right in the neck. You know what I'm saying? Make the motherfucker wish he couldn't breathe. Like he's wishing for breath in like, 2 minutes or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like bah, like right in the neck, you know? But so the scalpers though, they ain't like they don't give a fuck, right? As a matter of fact, some of them are talking about that the reason why they are scalping PlayStation 5s are because they just want to put food on the table.
First of all, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. So we're going to read the story here. This comes out of NME.com. It says a scalper group that targeted the PlayStation 5 console release has given a statement defending their actions and of selling almost 3,500 units for profit. The group, UK-based Crep Chief Notify, had been running Facebook ads to enlist as many people as possible. The ads promised an instant £100 profit for people willing to buy and resell the console, which was already faced difficulties in meeting demand. In response to anger from consumers who missed out on securing a PlayStation 5 before Christmas, the group have released a statement tagging publications that had reporting on the scalping. In the full statement, Crep Chief Notify clarified that they had not used bots, but were prepared and had our in-house monitors ready. The company were able to secure 3,472 units in total and are aiming for a £350,000 profit. Focusing on release day, the group said in their statement, the day came and members had feasted 2,472 consoles secured on the day, not with bots as the media is portraying, all manual. Sure, we had the advantage with our knowledge and monitors, but that's just being prepared. Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Lots of communities have been furloughed, made redundant, or some form of disadvantage due to the pandemic. These people have managed to cover their bills, but put food on the table and supply Christmas presents for the children. It may be unfortunate that a child won't wake up to a PlayStation 5 this Christmas, but another child may have woken up to nothing. They finished the statement by claiming that they have no regrets. Shortages of the console have already caused pre-order issues, with some units being delayed until after Christmas. Online marketplaces like eBay are already saturated with sellers looking to profit off of the surrounding desperation. So I'm going to just say this here right now, man. I find it very motherfucking hard to believe that the people who are scalping PlayStation 5s are having a hard time putting food on the fucking table when you just spent bread, cash money, buying multiple consoles. That's not the action of somebody who can barely put food on the fucking table. Miss me with the bullshit. I ain't got no sympathy whatsoever for a fucking scalper. Fuck you. Fuck your crew. Fuck everybody associated with you. Beat your own dick into your head, nigga. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. Like, I've been dealing with, like, I wanted a PlayStation 5, man. Real talk. Your man's being salty. I've been trying to get a PlayStation 5 just last night, right? A regional store here in Michigan, Meijer, put PlayStation 5s on sale Black Friday. Me and my wife was on the damn website or whatever trying to get it, and they had these queues and shit, mostly to keep the bots out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my wife was able to make it through or whatever, but every time she thought she was actually going to be able to purchase one, it was like, oh, we're going to push this event back another 35 minutes. Oh, we're going to push this event back another 45 minutes. Oh, we're going to push this event back another 50 minutes. Like, nigga, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. We ain't got time for this shit. And it's only to keep the bots out of this shit so that regular people will actually have a shot at purchasing a fucking PlayStation. Now, if you're on, like you're doing this, like, you know, this buying a fucking PlayStation so you could resell it for $1,000, man, fuck you. Kiss my entire ass. Like, real talk. I have no love for you simple motherfuckers. I really don't. And to you people who are buying these PlayStations at $1,000, fuck you. Because you enable these motherfuckers to do this sort of stupid shit. Like, it's crazy that they're using this pandemic to take advantage of the fact that, like, the only way in which people can obtain these things are through online purchasing. Right? That's just what it is. The only way you can obtain these things is through online purchasing. And so, like, while we were talking about, like, the ladies over at the, you know, I forget the name of that podcast, but, like, we were talking about that, like, last week, and how old girl was so dismissive of the fact that people wanted PlayStation 5s and shit. And I'm like, yo, man, just let people enjoy things. But people can enjoy things because people are actually trying to take advantage of the people who just want to enjoy things. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, to the scalpers who were talking about, well, we just trying to put food on the table. Nigga, you got money to put food on the table already. Stop buying PlayStation 5s, nigga. That's what it is. That's essentially what it is. And you got money to buy multiple PlayStation 5s. Many of these people who are trying to buy PlayStation 5s for their kids, that's the only motherfucking thing their son or their daughter wants for the holiday season, and they can't get one because your bitch ass got it, and you trying to sell that bitch for $1,000. Man, fuck you. I'm dead ass serious. I shouldn't even be this upset about it, but I'm mad as hell. It ain't even about me. I can wait. I can wait, man. Like I said, I got a fucking Xbox Series S, an Xbox One, a fucking PlayStation 4, Google Stadia, a Retron 5. Like, I got games I ain't even finished on none of these fucking systems, man. I can wait. Before a kid who really wants that for their fucking Christmas and shit like that, and for you motherfuckers to be talking about, so, well, we doing this to put food on the table. Man, fuck you. You bitch ass niggas, man. I just got hot. When are you supposed to get that hot about that? But that's in Blue Blazers, man. Real talk. Another story that we got here in Blue Blazers, man, is Dave Chappelle, man. Dave Chappelle is in Blue Blazers. And the reason why Dave Chappelle is in Blue Blazers is because Dave Chappelle has actually asked Netflix to remove the Chappelle Show because he ain't getting paid for the shit, y'all. Yeah, man. So we get to story here. This comes out of the BBC.com. It says that Netflix has removed comedian Dave Chappelle's 2000 sketch show after he complained that he wasn't getting paid as part of the deal for it to be streamed. Now, Chappelle's show first aired on Comedy Central from 2002 to 2006. But in an excerpt from a recent stand-up gig that he posted on Instagram, he claimed he never got paid royalties after the show's original run. He castigated Comedy Central's parent company, Viacom CBS, Viacom CBS, for continuing to make the show available on HBO Max. People think I made a lot of money from Chappelle's show, the 47-year-old said in his routine. When I left that show, I never got paid. He claimed that he was desperate when he signed his original contract and that his terms mean that Viacom CBS and other parties can rebroadcast Chappelle's show without being obligated to pay him. I found out that these people were streaming my work and they never had to ask me or they never had to tell me, he said, perfectly legal because I signed the contract. Chappelle recently referenced the matter while hosting the weekly comedy show Saturday Night Live. On that show, the comedian joked that his great-grandfather, William Chappelle, who was born in slavery in 1857, would have thought his descendant had been bought and sold more than he had been. Netflix, HBO Max, and Viacom CBS have yet to comment. In the video he posted on Tuesday under the title Unforgiven, Chappelle alleged that Netflix and HBO Max had decided to stream the series after his SNL hosting role was announced. The day I committed to SNL, it gets announced that Netflix is streaming Chappelle's show. He's seen saying, not just Netflix, HBO Max is streaming it too. Chappelle said that the news made him furious, and he had called Netflix to tell them this makes me feel bad. And I want you to know what they did. He continued, they agreed that they would take it off their platform just so I could feel better. The comic went on to praise the streaming service for going above and beyond what you could expect from a businessman. He said they did something just because they thought I might think that they were wrong. Chappelle signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Netflix in 2016 to make a series of stand-up comedy specials. In the video, the comedian also called on Viacom CBS shareholders to tell them it's wrong and to allow Chappelle's show to be streamed on outlets on outlets it owns. You should know it's in the hot dogs for you. You should know what's in the hot dogs you eat, he added. Now, here's the thing, man. And we've talked about Dave Chappelle quite a bit these last couple of years, man, especially when Dave Chappelle reemerged in the public sphere when he decided he was going to do his Netflix specials, the comedy specials. And we've talked about some of the nature of the content that Dave Chappelle has been giving us over the course of the last couple of years, right? We talked about it here on the show. And one of the things that I thought was very interesting about this is the reception that this request that Dave Chappelle put out, the reception that it got. Because I was on social media and I was watching people talk about, yo, man, it's fucked up, man. It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up what they're doing to the GOAT, man. Dave Chappelle, man, it's fucked up, man. We should boycott Netflix, nigga. We shouldn't even be watching that shit, nigga. We shouldn't even be watching that shit on HBO Max, nigga. That's fucked up what they doing, man. They putting that shit out and they ain't even paying that nigga Dave, man. He should be getting a cut off of that shit, man. It's some bullshit, man. And like that's how it's been received, you know? And truthfully speaking, like in a vacuum, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? That's okay. Like if we were living in a vacuum, like the fact that Dave Chappelle was like, yo, man, I'm not getting any monies off of this. I feel like they're taking advantage of me. And I would hope that my fans, the people who support me would look out for me and not stream that show because I'm not getting paid for it. They like basically like making money up off me and my name. And I'm not getting paid what I'm worth. Right. And I can agree. I can recognize like someone having an issue with that. And Dave Chappelle even talked about like, yo, man, it's not even so much about the money somewhat. It's about how it makes me feel. It's about how it makes me feel, man. I felt like this is some bullshit. I feel like if y'all fuck with me, then y'all wouldn't be doing this. And Netflix, they did it, although it could come at a cost to them, right? It could come at a cost to them. They did it because it would make me feel better. And then it makes me think, though, you know, it makes me think about when we were talking about some of the content that Dave Chappelle was putting out on those Netflix specials. Made me think a little bit about that. So like Dave Chappelle has like as of late been talking about his ability to be able to tell jokes no matter who the motherfucking jokes offend. no matter who those jokes, maybe like hurting emotionally or whatever. It was about, fuck their feelings, so to speak, especially when it came to the LGBTQ community. Because a lot of those jokes were coming at the expense of the LGBTQ community, and they spoke up. Many allies of that group spoke up and said, hey man, like, do you really need to be making these jokes? And what did Dave Chappelle do when people of the LGBTQ community was telling him, like, yo, man, these jokes make us feel a certain way. These jokes they're not welcoming. These jokes are kind of fucked up, man. And what Dave's response was like, niggas, get over it. This is my comedy. This is what I want to do. Y'all not about to curtail my freedom of speech to say the shit that I want to say, right? Now, Netflix could have very well responded to Dave Chappelle in very much the same way that Dave Chappelle responded to the LGBTQ community when it came to the jokes that he was telling in those comedy specials. Dave Chappelle doubled down on his bullshit. Netflix could have done the same to him. But do you see how grateful Dave was that Netflix didn't treat him in the ways in which Dave treated the LGBTQ community, right? And it's not just the LGBTQ community that I'm thinking about when I watch like some of the reception to this, because I also think about Monique. Now, full disclosure, a friend of the show, Corey Boyd Bell, works with Monique. She opens up for Monique on the road. She's toured with Monique. She's been a part of Monique's Showtime special, Monique and Friends. Me and Corey go back years. Like, that's high school. Like, we go all the way back, right? But it's not that, though. And I want to make that clear. It's not that. I just saw the hypocrisy in a lot of this when it came to how people responded, not just to like Dave Chappelle in comparison to how they responded to Monique, but also how people responded to Monique as it related to somebody else within the Black community who was coming to the Black community trying to rally support against some of these institutions. And that was Byron Allen. When Byron Allen was going up against Comcast, and when Byron Allen was telling everybody that, like, yo, this affects everybody, and ultimately, like, he was challenging a 19th century law, like the very first like Civil Rights Act in the United States, and the discrimination that he felt he was getting or receiving because Comcast wouldn't put his channels on their network or wouldn't put it on their cable network or whatever. And he challenged them and went all the way to the Supreme Court, ultimately settling that case, by the way. We haven't heard from we haven't heard from Byron Allen since that shit was fucking settled or whatever. But he went on The Breakfast Club. He went on Roland Martin. He went on all the Black media spaces to try to rally support for the fact that, like, yo, Comcast ain't putting my channels on they shit. And then here's the other part about the shit with Byron Allen is that many of the channels that Byron Allen owns, how many of y'all even watch that shit? Like, just keep it a buck. How many of us even really, really, really watch the shit that Byron Allen owns and puts out and broadcasts, right? We haven't heard shit from Byron Allen since he settled that motherfucking case. Meanwhile, he was out here rallying the motherfucking troops, putting everybody's everybody's civil rights on the line for his own bottom line, right? He was able to rally support behind that shit. We ain't heard nothing from fucking Byron Allen. Meanwhile, at the same time, when Monique was like, hey man, these people ain't trying to pay me what I'm worth for a comedy special. I would like for the community to get behind me to boycott this in order to bring the collective community to know, or not even for the collective community to know, for Netflix to know that the collective community won't tolerate us being undervalued. And many folks who are listening to the sound of my voice laughed that shit the fuck up out the paint. Thought she was crazy as hell for even suggesting such a thing. Now, some of y'all will sit up here and be like, yo, man, it ain't the same, man. It ain't the same, man. People don't like fucking Monique the way that they like Dave Chappelle. I get that. But whether you like Monique, whether you like Byron Allen, whether you like Dave Chappelle, the principle of the matter remains the same. She's asking for what she believes she's worth. Dave Chappelle is asking you to protest on his behalf because of what he believes he's worth. Byron Allen is asking you to protest on behalf of him because of what he believes he's worth. But we supported these two brothers and decided to laugh this sister up out of the motherfucking paint. And that's what's fucked up to me. That's what's fucked up. And so many folks don't see it. They don't see the misogyny. They don't see the misogyny wire. It's like, yo, this black woman asking for some shit. What the fuck is wrong with her? Get in line, bitch. Is what a lot of people will say. Now, you don't even have to agree with Monique. But the principle is there. Right? I think that Dave Chappelle should get paid for his work. I think that Byron Allen should get paid for what his work is worth. I think Monique should get paid for what her work is worth. However, when it came to them coming to the community about what their work is worth, there was only one person who didn't get the same support, and that was Monique, man. And I think that's fucked up. And we talked about this. We talked about this when it came to Byron Allen last summer, I believe it was. I believe that's fucked up, man. And so, like, the other part about this, like I said, as we talk about Dave Chappelle talking about they like Netflix doing this because of how they thought it made me feel better that Netflix would do that, right? Meanwhile, the LGBTQ community is asking Dave Chappelle, like, hey man, could you not do those jokes because they make us feel a certain way? And he thinks that is an invasion upon his First Amendment rights. He's going to double down on this because it's an invasion upon his like. You want these same people to boycott on your behalf because of how it makes you feel. Meanwhile, you're telling a certain segment of the population, like, man, fuck your feelings. I'm going to say these jokes. There's a disconnect there. And I don't want us to motherfucking miss it. I don't want us to miss this disconnect. Because it's there and it's palpable. And so, yeah, man. That's been Blue Blazers, y'all.
What in blue blazes is going on out here?
Did this nigga just say blue blazes?
But y'all know what time it is. You know what? Y'all don't know what time it is, but we doing this today.
You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job.
All right. It's Lose Your Job time here at the Spann Report podcast, man. And our first story, well, our only story here in Lose Your Job is hold on, man. Let me pull this up. A Hackensack school board member had to resign because during a school board meeting that was held on Zoom, rather than tell these people that, rather than excuse herself, she took her motherfucking laptop into the bathroom to take a shit and brought the school board meeting in there with her, man.
Ho, brother. Whoa. Now, you got too much dip on your chip.
So we read the story here. This comes out of the dailyvoice.com. It says a Hackensack school board member who made national headlines by opposing an LGBTC curriculum has resigned after an embarrassing incident during a Zoom meeting. Francis Kojelja didn't realize she left her laptop camera on when she took it with her going to the bathroom during the public comment section of a board meeting Monday night.
Well, that'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
She was bare-assed, all right. This is nearly 150 participants, including students, apparently saw Kojelja relieve herself. No one immediately said anything when she returned from her trip to the toilet. A short time later, Vice President Scott James Vickery reportedly told Kojelja, "You need to go. We're here trying to get work done while you're sitting on the toilet." Oh, man.
I'm going to cut you every which way but loose.
Oh, man. That was not what I was looking for, but whatever. It says, the Board of Education President Lancelot Powell later said that Kojelja couldn't be removed because she was an elected official, We can't make her resign, he reportedly said. No one can kick us off a board. None of us can kick off a board member. Early Tuesday afternoon, the board announced that the trustees have received a letter of resignation from Mrs. Frances Kojoja, effective November 24, 2020. The remaining trustees must fill the vacancy within 65 days or by January 29th under state law. Kojoja made headlines and drew widespread condemnation last year when she called the new state laws that require teaching about LGBTQ history repugnant. I have every right as a parent to not have my child participate in something that I do not think is suitable as part of a public school curriculum, she said at the time. I believe conversations having to do with sexuality should be had at home between parents and their children. So here's the thing. So many people, and this goes back to that whole religious freedom shit, right? So many people hide behind religion. So many people hide behind these. I think I should be able to have these conversations with my child at home. I don't believe the school is a proper place for them to learn about this sort of thing. You know, where people learn about shit at school. Where people learn about, it's okay for them to learn about venereal diseases at school. It's okay for them to learn about human anatomy at school, but it's not okay for them to learn about human sexuality at school. Make that shit make sense. Make it make sense. Most of this has to do with the fact that a lot of folks are simply opposed to this due to religious motherfucking upbringing and religious doctrine, and they hide behind that. Many of the same people would have hid behind their religious doctrine in order for them to have, us learn about Black history, us learn about Indigenous people history, us learn about Hispanic history within these, within the confines of the United States. So the fact that this woman pulled a Jeffrey Tubin, and like, it's crazy. Like, it's a Zoom call, man. Turn your camera off. Turn your motherfucking microphone off. Excuse yourself while you jerking off, or in this case, taking a shit. Excuse yourself. But also, I'm not really feeling sympathetic to this woman because of the fact that she's willing to discriminate against a marginalized group of people for her own self-comfort. Your comfort does not trump the lives of people who are of this community. It just doesn't. You don't get to hide behind your religion because you are uncomfortable because of how these people were not even raised, because most people aren't, 99.9% of people aren't raised to be of the LGBTQ community. They just are. It's who they are, And so, yeah, man, she had to resign, not because of the hate though, but because she had to resign, not because of the hate, but because of the fact that she got caught on video taking a shit during a school board meeting, man. She didn't even decide to mute the camera, nothing. Like, turn the camera off, none of that. So, yeah, man, that's been Lose Your Job.
You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job.
All right, but y'all know what time it is.
That I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
All right, that's enough of that shit. Proud to be an American time here at the Spann Report podcast, man. And our first story here in Proud to be an American has to do with the fact that, y'all old president, man, Donald Trump, he's acting an ass, so to speak. So a reporter asked Donald Trump how soon he would leave the White House, especially like with the election, like all these challenges that he's has with the election or whatever, like they're falling on deaf ears. He's losing case after case after case in the courts or whatever. And the reporter asked him if the Electoral College go ahead and like votes Joe Biden in, would he leave the White House? And so this is the response that Donald Trump gave to this reporter. Let me pull this video up because there's video to this. Let me pull this up so Donald Trump can tell y'all exactly how he would respond to that. Here we go.
So, no, I can't say that at all. I think it's a possibility. They're trying to look between you people. Don't talk to me that way. You're just a lightweight. Don't talk to me that way. I'm the president of the United States. Don't ever talk to the president that way. All right, I'm going to go with another question. Go ahead.
I'm the president of the United States. Don't ever talk to me that way. Like, you know how many people really want to talk to you, Donald Trump? Until you get the fuck up out of the, like, man, get the fuck out of here, man. Fuck you. You ain't nobody's president. You ain't, like, this is why I ain't a reporter. This is why I couldn't be in like the press corps and shit. I'd be caught. I'm like, nigga, please. Like, man, fuck you, man. Answer the question. You know what I'm saying? This is why I can't be in that space, man. But this, he has to remind people that I'm the president of the United States. How many people, even Barack Obama, as much bullshit as he had to deal with, even Barack Obama didn't have to remind anybody that I am the president of the United States, although he should have, right? Y'all remember when motherfucking what's my man name, Joe Wilson, in the House of Representatives when Obama was given the State of the Union, and he called Obama a liar during a State of the Union, like, you lie. You know what I'm saying? Obama was much more classy about his response. Could you imagine Donald Trump responding in that same way? Probably not. Most of us wouldn't, couldn't see him doing that. But the fact that a reporter is essentially just asking, hey man, just answer the question. Because he wants to filibuster. He wants to go into all these grievances. The president of the United States is the most aggrieved motherfucker on the planet, so supposedly. And so he wants to go into all these things about the election being stolen, the election being rigged, and all this shit. And the reporter's like, hey man, just answer the goddamn question I asked you, bro. I ain't asked you about all this other shit. Just answer the goddamn question. But he can't do it, man. He can't do it. But we're going to continue to let this video play out.
The Electoral College does elect President-elect Joe Biden. Are you not going to leave this building?
Just so you, certainly I will. Certainly I will. And you know that. But I think that there will be a lot of things happening between now and the 20th of January. A lot of things.
Okay, so the editorial line is in this video as well. This is YouTube, by the way. But yo, man, that's in Proud to Be an American, Donald Trump. Another story. Oh shit, I didn't mean to close that. I didn't mean to close that. But another story that we got here in Proud to Be an American, man, is the Justice Department right now is rushing to expand execution methods like firing squads for federal death row inmates, man. Yeah, man, let me pull up my pocket again. I accidentally closed it or whatever, but we're going to get this story here. I believe this comes out of CNN.com. Where is it? Here we go. Yeah. This comes out of CNN.com. It says the Justice Department has rushed to change the rules around federal death penalties as they expedite a slew of scheduled executions in the final days of the Trump administration, including expanding possible execution methods to include electrocution and death by firing squad. The approved amendment of the manner of federal executions rule gives federal prosecutors a wider variety of options for execution in order to avoid delays if the state in which the inmate was sentenced doesn't provide other alternatives. The rule was included among 36 policy changes Donald Trump is attempting to push through before the end of his term. The proposed changes were first reported by ProPublica. Attorney General William Barr and the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs pushed the rule forward. Once the approved amendment is published in the Federal Register, which could come as early as Friday, according to a Justice Department official, it will become effective in 30 days. It ultimately may be moot since President-elect Joe Biden campaigned to abolish the federal death penalty, and 4 of the 5 inmates scheduled for execution already have their manner selected: lethal injection. The Justice Department did not provide comment on why the new rule was made. The proposed amendment, which was published in August, called for alternative means for federal executions if the lethal injection is not available in the state in which the defendant is given a sentence of death. It also suggests that if the state where the crime occurred does not permit death sentences, a judge can designate another state with those laws and utilize their facilities to carry out the execution. So I'm going to say this here right now, man. I don't even know why they bothering to do this, right? Like, this just kind of speaks to some of the cruelty that was the Trump administration, and the cruelty was the point. Whether you're talking about like the separating the parents from children, whether you're talking about the ostracization of Muslim Americans or Muslims coming into America, whether you're talking about the supposed law and order president like pulling back on some of the consent decrees when it came to law enforcement and how they were treating some communities, especially minority communities. Like, this entire administration has been fixated on being the most punitive, being the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Not just punitive, but being one of the most cruel administrations And the cruelty is the point, right? If you have someone on death row, and that's not to say that like anybody has like any sympathy for the people who are like, for some of the folks who are on death row. Some people who are on death row don't even necessarily belong there. But for the people who belong there, what difference does it make whether you kill them, because they're going to be dead at the end of the day? But what difference does it make whether you kill them by electrocution, whether you kill them by lethal injection, or whether you kill them by firing squad, other than the fact that you want to make sure that that person suffers when they die, right? So you will put them before a firing squad as opposed to letting them go to sleep and, have the lethal injection, like kill them while they sleep and shit in a more humane way. How does that make America any different than some of the third world countries that Donald Trump says we became when it came to him losing a fucking election? Right? How does that make us any different? Like, it's okay to be a third world country when it comes to executing, criminals or whatever, but it's not okay for us to be a third world country when it comes to you losing the goddamn election? Fuck out of here, man. So yeah, man. That's in Proud to Be an American. Another story that we got here in Proud to Be an American is that Ice Cube, man. Remember, we were talking about Ice Cube quite a bit in the lead up to the election. Ice Cube went on the Roland Martin Unfiltered show on YouTube, and he was put in contact with Alicia Garza of the, I believe her, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on what her organization, Black Futures Lab, I'm sorry. The Black Futures Lab. He was put in contact with her, and they discussed his platinum, or his connection with Donald Trump and the platinum plan, and Ice Cube's creation of the contract with Black America. And Alicia Garza was put in contact with Ice Cube via Roland Martin, and they talked about them maybe collaborating on some issues to put forth for a Black agenda. Well, Alicia Garza has come forth to say that, like, since then, she has yet to hear from Ice Cube about anything concerning the goddamn Black agenda. We read the story here. This comes out of BET.com. It says Ice Cube made headlines right before Election Day when he appeared to be working with the Trump administration on his contract with Black America agenda. As co-founder of the International Black Lives Matter movement, civil rights activist Alicia Garza even spoke to Ice Cube, where he publicly agreed to work with her on further developing the plan. While discussing her new book, The Purpose of Power, How We Come Together When We Fall Apart, on the Clay Kane Show on SiriusXM Urban View, Garza was asked if she has yet to hear from the rapper over some. If she has yet to hear from the rapper some over a month after their initial conversation, to which she responded with a flat no. She continued, I would like to say for the record that I did reach out to him, both in the group chat that Roland Martin put us on directly after the show, and I reached out to him individually, and no, I did not ever hear back. Garza has a robust Black agenda via the Black Futures Lab, and portion of it was used for Senator Kamala Harris's presidential campaign. She also asked about the backlash Ice Cube received after appearing to dismiss how Garza had been attacked by those in support of Trump and attacked by those in support of the Trump administration. She admits that she has received several death threats. I honestly felt like he maybe felt ambushed, and I don't think he expected me to pop up on that screen. I wanted to give a little bit of compassion, but I also took it as, we have very different approaches as to how that change happens. As I said in that interview, just as not a business transaction, you really have to make sure that you're bringing people with you that you are consulting and collaborating with people. So I'm gonna just say this: when it comes to Ice Cube and that contract with Black America, as I said many a time on this show while that thing was a thing, Ice Cube wanted the credit for bringing forth policy for Black America, despite the fact that many people were out there in front and doing the work before him. Ice Cube thought that his celebrity was enough to bring that through. And when he didn't get the kudos, when he didn't get the adulation, when Donald Trump didn't win, he didn't get the credit that he thought he deserved for coming up with this document or coming up with these ideas that were already a part of many of the ideas that the Congressional Black Caucus and others who are in the activist community were already doing. And so, in large part, Ice Cube just kind of picked up his ball and went home. And we saw that on Twitter when Ice Cube was like, yo, I got the Trump administration to commit to $500 billion, $500 billion in aid to the black community. And this is the thanks I get. Like, and that wasn't what was promised to the black community at all. Donald Trump used Ice Cube. Ice Cube doesn't want to admit to being used. And this is what we have. Many of the people who are activists within the community were already doing the work that Ice Cube just kind of leapfrogged himself in because he was a celebrity. And he thought just because I was a celebrity, like I can get this shit done. Just like totally disrespecting the people who are already doing that work. And so, yeah, we probably won't hear from Ice Cube concerning any of this shit for quite some time regarding his contract with Black America, man. But that's been proud to be an American.
That I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
All right, but y'all know what time it is.
The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here.
All right. It's Champ of the Week time here at the Spann Report Podcast, man. And our Champ of the Week this week, man, is you guys, man. Those of you who have celebrated this Thanksgiving holiday, those of you who have decided to like put the health and welfare of those that you love above your own wants and needs, man. Those of you who decided like, yo, I'm not going to be up in the clubs and go to Thanksgiving and celebrate with Meemaw, and then I'll be burying Meemaw come Christmas. Like those of you who have like sacrificed that time and sacrificed, you know, the camaraderie, sacrifice the love, sacrifice the coming together. I want to salute you because I know how hard it is. I know how wanting to be with family is so important to so many people, and having to like put that aside for the betterment and the opportunity to be with those relatives, to be with those elders the next year. Hopefully those elders are here with us here next year so that we can be more thankful for the fact that like, yo, we got through this. You know, I think you guys are the champs, man. I like so many people had to like put like are so used to being around family, man. We to the point where like some people take it for granted, right? I don't want us to take it for granted. I just want us to be mindful. I want us to be thankful. I want us to be aware of what our presence could mean and what the ramifications of our presence could mean amongst not just the elders, but some of the young folks too, man. We don't have to expose the people we love to this virus because we want to be selfish and be around the people that we love. Like, yo, I want you to be here much longer than this fleeting moment right now. And if I can like sacrifice this moment right now to be with you longer, to be with you in this moment next year, and us to be more grateful and more thankful for it, then that means more than anything in the world. And so, man, I just want to thank and I want to like salute everybody who took into account that this COVID thing isn't a joke and that it could mean like you losing someone because you decided that you just wanted to be there. So, yeah, man, salute to you guys, man. Real talk. You guys are the champ of the week. But it's time for us to get on up out of here. But before we do, of course, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with us here at the Spann Report Podcast and let your voice be heard. Go ahead and hit up the hotline, area code 313-288-0485. It's area code 313-288-0485. Leave us those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get read here and replied to here live on the show and responded to in kind. You can also email us here at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Go ahead, leave us those emails, and of course, those emails will get read here and replied to here live as well. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead and follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. You can also hit up our website at www.thespannreport.com. You can go there, watch replays of the show. You can vote in the polls when we decide to put those polls up. You can donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like. And of course, we really do appreciate every dime over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network. Also, hit up our store, man, at www.thespannreport.com. Hit the store tab up on the top of the website. Copy yourself some merch, man. Get yourself a t-shirt or a face mask or a coffee mug or something. Support us in that way, man. We really appreciate everybody who goes ahead and buys some merch. It does help with us keeping the show up here and live and direct and all of the shit, man. Like keep us on like YouTube and keep us on Spotify and on iHeartRadio and all of that stuff, man. Support us in that way, man. We really do appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. Also, 5-star reviews on iTunes and on Stitcher Radio. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. It doesn't cost you a dime, man. Just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. Real talk. But it's time for me to get on up out of here. I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam, peace.